the stock market's a casino?
No, not entirely. The stock market is there for a reason. The stock market has a job, and that job is to raise money for companies so that they can grow. Okay? There is a real economic reason for a stock market. It always makes me laugh, especially around, the time of the financial crisis, where people were saying, the stock market, the currency markets, we should get rid of them completely. What would happen? At some point or other, some company would say, imagine all trading was banned. At some point, some company would say, right, okay, well, I need to raise some money. And they'd go to a bank, and the bank would say, we're not going to lend you any money. So they'd say, okay, well, in that case, I need to sell a little bit of my company to someone who isn't a bank, perhaps, so that I can have some money. There you are. You're back on the same route again. It's inevitable. It's never going to go away. Obviously, there is a casino element to it, because there is lots and lots and lots. The vast majority of trading is purely speculative. But, people should always remember, at the root of it, there is a very sound and important economic reason for stock markets and currency markets and all markets. It's called capitalism.
Do you think you can time the market?
To an extent, yes, but again, you never know what's just around the corner. So again, you can time the market, you can look at long-term trends, but you never know what piece of news is going to come along and completely, wipe out any long-term trend because of some big piece of news that changes everything in the blink of an eye.
Do you think that traders are gamblers?
Yeah, I mean, you of course, that's what trading is. Trading is effectively gambling. It's as simple as that, yes.
Do you think the market is then more of a complex game than a casino?
I think there are elements of both. Obviously, the main drive of intraday trading is gambling. It's making money. You are putting your money down on the table in the hope of turning it into more money. But there is an element of gamesmanship, because it can be enjoyable, but you shouldn't let the enjoyment take over from the cold hard facts that you are gambling your money. But yeah, it's a fun thing to do. Trading is fun. If it wasn't fun, a lot less people would do it.
Do you think the market is rigged? Do you think the stock market's rigged?
I do believe, to a certain extent, all money markets, stock markets and FX markets and metals markets, I do believe to a certain extent there is an element of rigging going on. I mean, you only have to look at the LIBOR scandal after scandal after scandal. People need to be aware that when you're going in to trade as an individual, you're straight away trading with a disadvantage, because the big boys, the big banks, are absolutely having conversations behind closed doors, and there's also the speed element. There's the fact that these huge algo trading systems, high frequency trading systems, you as a human being pressing a button to hit a trade, or even you as a human being using a bot, you're never going to have that amount of speed, because you're not spending tens or hundreds of millions on fibre optic cabling and super hyper computing systems. So yeah, that's also a handicap as well. And you've just got to know, in order to make money, that's what you're going to have to rise against.
So do you need to have external, internal information to be profitable? Here. In terms of trying to get a competitive advantage over, the people that you're up against, talk about the importance of internal and external information and how you get that to give you an advantage.
Okay, so you need to pick a good source of news and a good source of economic data. The banks have it, and the banks pay lots and lots of money for it, but you can get that information if you look hard enough, if you look close enough. And Trigger Buddy is providing all of that information for you. So Trigger Buddy makes sure that you've got all that economic data information, that you've got the important pieces of news that come out throughout the day, and that you've got them fast enough to make a decision. Now, I'm not going to pretend that someone sitting on a professional trading floor isn't going to get the fact that Angela Merkel's just said something important a few seconds faster than someone using Trigger Buddy. But on the other hand, you can't trade against those people. It's impossible, because they've got more information than the average person out there. But what Trigger Buddy does is it gives you the ability to trade with an open mind.
So the question was, do you need to have external, internal information to be profitable?
So you do not need to have internal information to be profitable. Problem with internal information is it's usually illegal because it's insider trading. That's not to say, back to the previous question about is there an unfair advantage, that's not to say it goes on, but you don't need it to make money. What you do need is a good, reliable source of external information, and you need it to be fast enough, and you need it to not flood you with loads of irrelevant information, and you need to make sure you're not going to miss the important stuff. And that's back to Trigger Buddy. That's exactly what Trigger Buddy does. That's why I came up with the idea, is because I could see that what I needed to trade was some single place where I could go, where I could configure my real-time alerts so that I knew that I was going to have the external, the view of what's going on out there. I wasn't going to miss anything important, and I was going to get it as soon as I needed and fast enough to make trading decisions.